You probably know someone like this. They have the nicest clothes, the perfect aesthetic, all the right friends, and they treat everyone else like garbage. We tend to think toxic influencer culture is a modern problem, but thousands of years ago, an entire civilization acted exactly like this. They were called the people of Hud, and Prophet Hud, peace be upon him, was the one man willing to stand up to them. If social media existed back then, the people of Hud would have owned the algorithm. They were the ancient 1%, the pioneers of making sure everyone else knew they were inferior. But here's the thing. Having nice things or being successful was never actually their crime. The real danger is what all that winning does to your ego. They lived in a city of unmatched engineering. They built massive stone pillars that scraped the sky, and their physical strength was terrifying. Nobody could build what they built or fight how they fought. And because nobody could touch them, they started to believe their own hype. They quickly convinced themselves they were entirely self-made, absolute masters of their own destiny who didn't need anyone or anything else. This chart shows exactly how their society functioned. If you were at the top, you had the right to squash anyone beneath you. A human being's worth was calculated purely by how much money and power they had. They floated completely away from common human decency. They thought they were untouchable, totally blind to how fragile their setup actually was. That is the textbook definition of arrogance. It's the delusion that you built yourself from scratch, while conveniently ignoring the one who gave you the raw materials in the first place. Enter Prophet Hud. While everyone around him was obsessing over their status, he was completely grounded. He was the reality check Hud desperately needed. Hud's message was simple. Their wealth, brilliant minds, and muscle, none of it was actually theirs. It was a temporary loan. Because those gifts are on loan from Allah, the owner can collect them at any moment. Disrespect the terms, and your time is up. The elite laughed in his face. They mocked him relentlessly. But Hud never asked for money, and he never lost his temper. He patiently reminded them. He proved what real leadership looks like. Sometimes it means taking insults from people who think they are better than you, simply because you want to save them from walking off a cliff. But Hud chose to walk off that cliff. They looked at their impenetrable fortresses, their endless bank accounts, and decided they didn't need God. This sense of total independence was their first real mistake. By deciding they didn't need their creator, they cut the safety lines, keeping their civilization stable. For Hud, the end came through the wind. Their towering monuments and terrifying physical strength swept away by nature as if they never existed. It is a bitter irony. They spent generations hoarding wealth and building high walls, and none of it could offer them a single second of protection when the consequences arrived. Stone walls and towers eventually crumble back into the sand, leaving behind nothing but the quality of your character and the true humility you practiced while you were still standing. Which brings us right back to your high school hallways and your social media feeds. That toxic need to look down on others didn't die with Hud. Today, it looks like acing a chemistry test and calling everyone else stupid. It looks like winning the state championship or wearing shoes nobody else can afford and making sure everyone knows it. When you hit those milestones, pause and ask yourself a question. Do you think you got there because you are just naturally a genius? Or do you recognize that your abilities were handed to you by Allah? Look at this balance. Every win and every bit of status you gain acts as a specific kind of exam. These moments reveal how you treat people who don't have those same advantages. Real strength is quiet. It doesn't need to flex for the camera. It shows up in how kind you are and how grateful you are for what you have been given. To be clear, there is absolutely nothing wrong with wanting to be successful. Get good grades, win the game, build a great career. Just keep your feet on the ground while you do it, because the higher you climb in life, the more you have to rely on the one who gave you the legs to make the climb in the first place. If this video gave you something to think about, hit the subscribe button and drop a comment below telling us one practical way you keep your own ego in check when things are going really well. May Allah grant us true humility and keep us firmly grounded, no matter how high we climb.